The objective of the labor inspection is to further strengthen the implementation of the visitorial and enforcement powers under the Labor Code as renumbered, towards securing a higher level of compliance with labor laws and standards and ensuring continuity and sustainability of compliance at workplaces. For this purpose, the Department of Labor and Employment delegates this function to the regional offices, with the issuance of a list of labor inspectors who are given the authority of conduct inspection, which covers all private establishments, including their branches and workplaces in the regions. The regional offices enforce labor laws and social legislation through the conduct of labor inspection, occupational safety and health investigation, and technical and advisory visit. Special inspections may be conducted as may be deemed necessary. With the provision for mobile devices and gadgets, the DOLE developed an inspection management information system. An important feature of the system is data capture and transmittal from the field in real time, as an electronic checklist is filled up through the use of mobile devices and gadgets. Data are instantly available for viewing and processing to generate reports, statistics, and summons, including real-time monitoring of decent work indicators based on the country's decent work profile. The TAV, or Technical and Advisory Visit, aims to provide assistance to the micro-establishments, or establishments that have 1 to 9 employees, to be sustainable, productive, and competitive. It also aims to transition our micro-establishments to the formal economy that is profitable, while also complying with our labor laws and occupational safety and health standards. There are different ways or modalities to avail TAV. First is the online method. Establishments can enroll in the self-paced technical and advisory modules through our learning management system. For establishments that opted to go with online, they must accomplish the modules within 1 month from the time they registered. Second is on-site. The DOLE regional, field, and provincial offices conduct on-site or face-to-face orientation for the technical and advisory services, wherein micro-establishments are invited to attend. Third is hybrid setup. Establishments can enroll in on-site sessions and attend virtual meetings or webinars using various online platforms like MS Teams, Viber, Skype, Zoom, or Google Meet.
Establishment owners carry a big responsibility to comply with labor laws, including submitting reports and providing documents like payroll records during inspections. But the manual filing process is a major challenge. They need to spend time, money, and effort to fill out forms and deliver them to the DOLE office, often dealing with traffic and delays. Sometimes, there's a long wait just to confirm if the report is accurate and complete. And it's not just employers facing difficulties. DOLE employees also struggle with limited manpower and the time-consuming task of reviewing and processing these reports. The time has come for change. What's required now is a more innovative, streamlined, and efficient process for handling compliance reports. One that will simplify life not just for businesses but also for DOLE employees. Welcome to the DOLE Online Compliance Portal, your all-in-one platform for seamless compliance submissions, designed to make compliance easier and more convenient for establishment owners. Telecommuting reports? Flexible work arrangement submissions? Reporting the 13th month pay? No problem. Even work accident or illness reports and the annual establishment report on wages, everything you need is now in one convenient portal. Plus, the DOLE Online Compliance Portal now includes the latest requirement for reporting movie and television shoots under Department Order 246, Series of 2024. All your compliance needs in one place, quick, secure, and hassle-free. With the DOLE Online Compliance Portal, registering your establishment is a breeze. Our automatic registration system ensures you are instantly compliant with OSH Standard Rule 1020. Once submitted, your certificate of registration is immediately available for download, saving you time and effort. Your establishment has been flagged for non-compliance during labor inspection. Don't worry. Required documents can be submitted quickly and conveniently. And if you're missing certain policies, like a mental health program or OSH program, we've got you covered with downloadable templates. Submit these documents directly through the portal, where DOLE inspectors will review, provide feedback, and keep you on track for compliance. With admin access on the DOLE online compliance portal, the labor inspectors can easily review the submitted reports and documents from the establishments. If further verification is needed, they can schedule an online meeting through Google Meet, all within the portal. This streamlines compliance checks, saving time and making the process more efficient for everyone. It's a smarter, more efficient way to stay compliant and keep your business running smoothly. Welcome to a new era of compliance, simplified, fast, and effective with the DOLE online compliance portal.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Webinar Wednesday of the Department of Labor and Employment, hosted by the Bureau of Working Conditions. This is Bea, your host for today's webinar. Ang topic po natin ngayon ay patungkol sa wage computation. Tatalakayin po natin dito kung paano at tama nga ba ang pang-compute ng ating mga wages at iba pang mga impormasyon patungkol dito. Pero bago yan, let us start with a short prayer.
Aming mapagmahal na Diyos, lumalapit po kami sa inyo ngayon na may pusong puno ng pasasalamat para sa pagkakataong magtipon-tipon sa webinar na ito. Nagpapasalamat kami sa biyaya ng teknolohiya na nagbibigay daan upang kami ay makapag-ugnayan, makapag-aral at lumago kahit na magkakalayo kami. Naway gabayan ninyo po ang bawat tagapagsalita at kalahok upang kami ay makapagbahagi ng mga kaalaman ng makabuluhan at nagbibigay inspirasyon. Tulungan ninyo kaming makinig ng bukas ang isipan at puso, handang matuto mula sa bawat isa. Bigyan ninyo po kami ng kaliwanagan sa kaisipan at kahusayan sa pagpapahayag upang maging makahulugan at may positibong epekto ang aming talakayan. Dalangin namin na ang session na ito ay magtaguyod ng pagkakaunawaan, pagkakaisa, at pagbabahagi ng kaalaman na kapaki-pakinabang para sa lahat. Naway madama namin ang inyong presensya sa aming kalagitnaan na nagtutulak sa isang espiritu na pagkakaisa at respeto. Nagtitiwala po kami sa inyong banal na karunungan upang kami ay gabayan sa anumang pagsubok o hamon na maaari naming harapin sa araw na ito. Sa pagtatapos ng aming pagsasama-sama, naway bitbitin namin ang mga aral na aming natutunan ng may panibagong layunin at dedikasyon. Sa pangalan ni Jesus, kami po ay nananalangin. Amen.
Good afternoon po ulit to our Facebook viewers. Thank you for joining us today. Paki-heart or like react naman po ang ating live stream. Please hit the follow button on our Facebook page, Dole BWC 1949, to get updated on the latest announcements and to know more about the labor standards and occupational safety and health standards in the workplace. Please share this live stream with your friends, family, and colleagues, and use the hashtag Webinar Wednesday. For questions or clarifications, please use the comment section below the screen, and our resource speaker will address them during the question and answer portion. So, this is the Season 3, Episode 24 of our Webinar Wednesday. Know Your Pay, a worker's guide to wage computation. Let me introduce you to our resource speaker. He is a Labor and Employment Officer 1 in the Bureau of Working Conditions under the Policy and Program Development Division. He is none other than Mr. Kim Neil Halmasco. Sir Kim, the virtual floor is yours. Thank you.
Hello, yeah. Thank you so much, Miss Bea, for that introduction, no? Magandang hapon po sa ating lahat, no? Okay, let me just share my screen. Ayan, okay. So, again, magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. At I hope okay po ang bawat isa sa atin, no? Kumusta po ang buhay-buhay ng bawat isa? So recently, madalas nag-uulan-ulan po ngayon, no? So payo lang po natin, no? Huwag nating kakalimutan magdala ng ating mga payo, kung kapote man ang ginagamit natin, no? Kasi sobrang prone po tayo ngayon sa mga sakit, no? Recently, ang dalas ng mga pag-ulan natin. So let us be safe bawat isa, no? Thank you so much. Okay. So let's start na po, no? I will be discussing about the computation of wages and unauthorized deductions on wages. So, before we dive into the computation of wages, alamin po muna natin kung ano ba ang wage. So, sabi sa Article 97F of the Labor Code, no, dinefine doon kung ano nga ba ang wage. So, wage is the remuneration of or earnings being expressed in terms of money, whether fixed or ascertained on a time, task, piece, or commission basis, or other method of calculating the same, which is payable by an employer to an employee for the work done or to be done or services to be rendered. So, yung mga nire-render po natin, yung ginagawa nating trabaho sa ating mga kumpanya, no? Nagtatalaga po yan ng sahod para sa bawat isa, no? So bawat trabaho na ino-offer natin sa ating mga kumpanya, kung saan nagbe-benefit po sila dito, entitled po tayo sa tinatawag natin na wage. Okay? So, since napag-usapan na natin yung wage, no, on June 9, 1989, Republic Act number 6727 or Wage Rationalization Act was enacted. So, ano nga ba itong Wage Rationalization Act na to, no? So, this Wage Rationalization Act mandates the fixing of minimum wages applicable to different industrial sectors. So, sa iba't ibang bansa, sa iba't ibang regions po natin, no, dito sa Pilipinas. So, naririnig naman po natin ito. Lagi natin narinig ito, yung minimum wage, no? So, through this act, Phoenix na po yung minimum wages sa bawat regions na meron tayo. So, through this law then, no, nirationalize din yung wage determination by establishing yung mechanism and proper standards through the creation of the regional tripartite wages and productivity boards or yung RTWPBs po natin, no? So sila po yung nagde-determine ng minimum wage rates sa bawat region. So once naman determine na nila kung ano yung minimum wage rates per region, naglalabas po sila ng regional wage orders. So yan po yung naririnig natin na regional wage orders. It is it is being issued by the RTWPBs po natin sa bawat region. Okay? So since pinag-usapan na natin yung minimum wage, no? So itong minimum wage applies to all employees po, no, sa private sector, regardless po kung anong position mo man sa kumpanya, sa establishment na yung pinagtatrabahuan, designation or status of employment, and irrespective po of the method by which they are being paid. Okay? So, eto na po. siguro naririnig na po natin ito, no, sa mga news po natin. Ito, ang National Capital Region po ay magkakaroon na naman ng panibagong minimum wage. So, meron po tayong minimum wage increase sa NCR. Ang ating wage order number NCR 26 po ay napirmahan noong June 24 po at na-publish ito noong July 2 at magte-take effect na po ito ngayong Friday. So excited na po ang bawat isa sa atin, no? Nadagdagan na yung sahod po ng ating mga minimum wage earners. So, ano nga ba nakapaloob dito sa wage order number NCR-26? So sabi po dito, no, yung current minimum wage po natin for non-agriculture na 645 ay magiging 695 na po. So may 50 pesos po na dadagdag sa minimum wage po natin for the non-agricultural. And for the agriculture, mga service and retail establishments po natin na nag-employ ng 15 workers or less, mga manufacturing establishments po natin na regularly employing less than 10 workers po, kung ang current po natin ay 608 pesos, so ngayon may bago na po tayong minimum wage para sa kanila which is 658. Okay? So I know 50 pesos, malaking bagay na po yan para sa ating mga minimum wage earners, no? Kasi kung tayo nag-a-avail dun sa mga kadiwa, no? 20 pesos na bigas, no? Ang katumbas nitong 50 pesos, 2.5 kilo na. So malaking bagay ito sa ating mga minimum wage earners para sa kanilang mga pamilya, no? So Friday po effective na itong wage order number NCR-26. Okay? So let's dive in na po sa ating pinakahihintay, ayan, computation of wages. So, for the purpose of this webinar, we will be discussing po yung 4 types of pay or wages po, yung for the holiday pay na computation, premium pay, overtime pay, and night shift differential pay. So, okay, let's start with holiday pay, okay? Itong holiday pay po, no, this is under Article 94 ng Labor Code. So ano nga ba itong holiday pay? Holiday pay refers to the payment of the regular daily wage for any unworked regular holiday. So kapag may regular holiday po tayo, kahit hindi tayo pumasok sa kumpanya sa araw na ito, bayad po tayo, no? Bayad po. Okay? For this holiday pay, okay, it applies to all employees po except, okay, number 1, government employees. Number 2, retail and service establishments employing less than 10 workers. Number 3, kasambahay and persons in the personal service of another. Managerial employees, officers or members of a managerial staff, at ang ating mga field personnel po, no? So exempted po sila sa holiday pay. So kami din po sa Department of Labor, no, wala po kami holiday pay, no? So applicable lang po to sa ating private sector. Okay? So for 2025 po, no, under Proclamation number 727, we have 12 regular holidays for 2025. So nandiyan yung New Year's Day, Eid al-Fitr, Araw ng Kagitingan, Monday, Thursday po, hanggang sa Rizal Day, which is being celebrated every December 30 po. Okay? So, paano nga ba tayo magkakaroon ng holiday pay o paano tayo ma-entitled for holiday pay? Isa lang naman po ang kailangan ng kondisyon, no? The employee must be present or on leave of absence with pay on the workday immediately preceding the holiday. Or, pag pwede din po na kung yung empleyado ay pumasok during the holiday mismo, entitled po siya for holiday pay. Okay? So, yung mga empleyado po na, let's say for example, ngayong araw, holiday, no? So, para ma-entitle ka for holiday pay, kailangan present ka kahapon. Okay? So, kung hindi ka present or on leave of absence without pay ka, on that day, hindi ka ma-entitled for holiday pay. Okay? So, ito nga po, no, yung sinasabi ko, if you are on leave of absence without pay, on the day immediately preceding yung mismong holiday po natin, you are not entitled for holiday pay. So papaano naman po daw kung ang empleyado ay scheduled rest day or non-work day sa establishment on the day immediately preceding yung holiday? Okay? Ang empleyado po na to ay maaari pa rin ma-entitled for holiday pay if this employee work on the day immediately preceding yung non-work day or rest day. For example, kunyari ngayong araw, no, holiday po, no? Tapos kahapon, rest day ng empleyado or non-work day ng establishment. Para ma-entitle po ang ating empleyado for the holiday pay, kailangan pumasok siya if ngayon ay Wednesday, dapat pumasok siya Monday or naka-leave leave of absence with pay po siya nung Monday para ma-entitle siya for the holiday pay. Okay? So nakaka-follow naman po tayo, naintindihan naman po natin. So meron na po talagang mga conditions na kailangan ma-meet po natin for the entitlement of holiday pay. Okay? So now, we are showing you with the illustration po ng holiday pay, no? So, if unwork po ang empleyado, sabi nga po natin, kahit di ka pumasok, basta na-meet mo yung mga conditions, entitled ka po for the holiday pay. Okay? If pumasok ka naman po, entitled ka for the holiday pay, pero ang rate po is 200%. So, madodoble po yung daily rate po natin or yung daily wage po ng empleyado once po na pumasok siya sa mismong araw ng holiday. Okay? And now, for the holiday pay ng certain employees po natin, no? Yung mga empleyado po na binabayaran on a piece rate basis, no? Para po makompute ang holiday pay po nila, kailangan po natin makuha yung average daily earnings ng empleyado na to for the last 7 actual work days preceding the regular holiday. Example po ulit, kung holiday po ngayon, so yung last 7 work days po niya pabalik, i-add po natin yun, no? Last 7 work days po niya, i-add natin. Then, di-divide po natin sa 7 para po makuha natin yung kanyang holiday pay, no? Yung average daily earnings po niya for the last 7 work days. Yun yung kanyang holiday pay. Now, for the seasonal workers po natin, no? They may not be paid po ng regular holiday ng holiday pay during off-season po nila kung hindi sila nagtrabaho. So basically, ito yung mga seasonal workers po natin na kung off-season po, di ba? Wala silang pasok. So basically, wala talaga silang matatanggap na holiday pay. So since hindi sila nag-render ng work during those season, kung saan yung entitlement ng holiday pay. Okay? So, yung mga workers naman po natin na walang regular working days, katulad yung mga kargador po natin sa mga pantalan, no? Entitled po sila for this benefit din. So, kasama din po sila for the holiday pay. Okay? So, let's now move naman po sa premium pay. Okay? Ang premium pay po, this is under Articles 91 to 93 ng Labor Code. Okay? Premium pay refers to the additional compensation for work performed within 8 hours on rest days and special days. So, kapag nagtrabaho ka on your rest day, entitled ka for the premium pay. And ito pong special days, no, tinutukoy po natin dito ay yung special non-working days na meron po tayo. Okay? So, for the premium pay po, no, this benefit applies to all employees po except, again, yung mga government employees po, kami po sa department, wala rin po kaming premium pay. Yung mga kasambahay po natin and persons in the personal service of another, managerial employees, officers or members of a managerial staff, workers who are paid by results, at ang ating mga field personnel po. No? Kung mapapansin po natin dito, kanina sa holiday pay, yung mga retail and service establishments po employing workers na less than 10, hindi po sila entitled for the holiday pay. Pero dito sa premium pay po, kasama po sila. No? They are entitled for premium pay. Okay? So for 2025 po, no? Again, under Proclamation number 727 issued by the President of the Philippines po, no? For 2025, we have 9 na special non-working days. Nandyan po ang Chinese New Year, Black Saturday, pati po yung national local elections po natin na ginanap last May 12. At hanggang sa last day of the year po natin, which is yung December 31. Okay. At ito nga po, no, para maging entitled po ang empleyado for premium pay, kailangan po pumasok siya mismo sa mismong araw po kung saan idineklara ang special non-working day. Dahil ang no work, no pay principle po ay nag-a-apply during special non-working days. So kung hindi po tayo pumasok, hindi po tayo entitled for premium pay. Okay? At those na hindi naman talaga nire-require permitted to work during special non-working days, they are not entitled to any compensation. Kahit pilitin mo pumasok ka, wala kang ginagawa sa bahay. Sir, papasok na lang po ako, wala kang ginagawa dito sa bahay. Pero hindi ka naman ni-require ni employer ninyo, or you are not permitted to work during that day, you are not entitled to any compensation. Okay? For the premium pay po, no, we have here illustration po kung paano binabayaran ang premium pay. Okay? For the work performed on rest day or special non-working day, ang empleyado po ay entitled for 30% ng daily rate po niya, no, for the premium pay. If the employee work on rest day and special non-working day, he or she is entitled for 150% of his or her daily rate. So, ito po, no, kung nagtrabaho yung special non-working day, tumapat sa rest day mo, tapos nagtrabaho ka rin po doon, araw na yon, you're entitled for 150% of your daily rate. And for work performed po on regular holiday, which also falls on the employee's rest day, entitled po siya for the rate po na 200% for the regular holiday and 130% ang kanyang daily rate for the payment of premium pay. Okay, so let's now proceed naman po for the overtime pay. No? Itong overtime pay, this is under Article 87 ng Labor Code. This refers to the additional compensation po for work performed beyond 8 hours a day. So, kailangan beyond 8 hours a day. So, meron mga queries po kami din na natatanggap na may mga nagtatanong din. What if, sir, late ako? Pumasok ako. Let's say, for example, 8 to 5 yung pasok ng empleyado. Pumasok siya, nakapasok siya 9. Then, syempre, hanggang 5 lang sila. So, yung work ba may re-render niya ng 5 to 6 ay considered as overtime pay, overtime na yon, overtime work. So, sabi dito sa batas, kailangan beyond 8 hours. So, kailangan makakompleto ka muna ng 8 hours bago ka ma-entitled for overtime pay. As long as permitted to work ka nung employer mo or nung establishment. So, kumbaga, pinapayagan ka na mag-render ng overtime pay for that day. Okay? This benefit applies to all employees po except, again, katulad po dun sa premium pay po, kapareho lang sila na entitlement ng exemptions. Yung sa government employees, exempted po for the entitlement ng overtime pay, makasambahay po natin. Managerial employees, officers, or members of a managerial staff, workers who are paid by results po, exempted din po for this benefit, at ating mga field personnel. Okay? So for overtime pay po, no, we have here illustration kung paano po binabayaran ang overtime pay. So for those who work on ordinary working day, so ang computation po dyan is daily rate, divide po natin sa 8 para makuha natin yung hourly rate ng empleyado, multiply naman natin sa 125%. This is the rate po for the ordinary working day for in rendering overtime pay during ordinary working day, 125%. Then, multiply po natin ito for the number of hours of overtime work. Okay, 125% for the ordinary working day. When the employee rendered work naman po during rest day or special non-working day, ito po ang magiging computation. Again, kukunin po natin yung hourly rate niya. That's daily rate over 8 para makuha natin yung hourly rate. Then multiply po natin sa 130%. 130% na po yung gagamitin natin for the work performed po during rest day or special non-working day. To compute yung overtime pay na empleyado na yan. Multiply po natin sa 130% po ulit. Then multiply sa number of hours of overtime work. For work performed naman po on rest day and special non-working day, no? Special non-working day which also falls on the employee's rest day, then nag-render siya ng overtime work. Ito po ang magiging computation. So daily rate, divide by 8 to get the hourly rate of the employee, multiply by 150% for the work performed during rest day, which also falls on the employee's special non-working day, special non-working day, which also falls on the employee's rest day, then multiply natin sa 130% for the overtime pay ng empleyado, then multiply naman po natin sa number of hours ng overtime work niya. Okay? For the fourth one naman po, work performed on regular holiday. So to get the hourly rate of the employee, daily rate divided by 8, multiply po natin sa 200% for the payment ng regular holiday. Then multiply po natin sa 130% for the payment of the overtime pay. And multiply po natin sa number of hours of overtime work. Okay? And lastly, for the work performed on regular holiday, which also falls on the employee's rest day. No? Regular holiday tapos rest day pa ng empleyado. Tapos nag-render pa siya ng overtime work niya. To get his payment for this day, we have to extract again yung hourly rate ng empleyado. Then multiply po natin sa 200% for the payment ng regular holiday. Then multiply natin sa 130% for the payment ng rest day niya. Then multiply po natin sa 130% po ulit for the payment naman ng overtime work niya. Then multiply sa number of hours na na-render niyang overtime. Okay? So nakaka-follow po ba tayo? No? So sasabihin ko naman po kung saan niyo po pwede ulit makita or ma-review itong formulas na pinapakita po natin ngayon. Okay? So dako naman po tayo ngayon sa night shift differential pay. This is under Article 86 of the Labor Code. Okay, night shift differential pay refers to the additional compensation of 10% of an employee's regular wage for each hour of work performed between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. of the following day. Okay, so kapag nag-render po tayo ng trabaho natin between 10 p.m. at 6 a.m. na susunod na araw, entitled po tayo for night shift differential pay. Okay, this benefit applies to all employees except, number 1, government employees. Then, number 2, retail and service establishments regularly employing not more than 5 workers. Number 3, kasambahay and persons in the personal service of another. Managerial employees, officers or members of a managerial staff, and yung ating mga field personnel and those whose time and performance are unsupervised by the employer. Okay. So for the night shift differential pay naman po, ito naman yung illustration na meron po tayo. Okay. If the employee work on ordinary working day, then nag-render din siya ng trabaho between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m., ganito po yung magiging computation to get the night shift differential pay. So, kailangan ulit natin makuha kung magkano yung hourly rate ng empleyado. Then, multiply po natin sa 110% which is the rate for the night shift differential. Then, multiply po natin sa number of hours work po between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. And for those naman po na nagtrabaho on rest day or special non-working day, then nag-render ng night shift ng trabaho o work between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m., ganito po yung magiging computation. So, kailangan po ulit natin makuha yung hourly rate ng empleyado. Multiply po natin sa 130%, which represents po yung payment for the rest day or special non-working day. Then, multiply po natin sa 110% for the night shift differential pay ng empleyado. Then, multiply po natin sa number of hours work ng empleyado. Okay? Then, third, for the work performed on rest day, which on a special non-working day, which also falls on the employee's rest day, then nag-render siya ng trabaho between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. Ito po yung magiging computation. So, yung daily rate po ng empleyado divided by 8 to get the hourly rate. Multiply po natin sa 150% for the payment po ng special non-working day, which also falls on the employee's rest day. Then multiply naman po natin sa 110%, which is yung night shift differential pay po niya. Then multiply po natin sa number of hours work ng empleyado. Fourth po, for the work performed on regular holiday. Tapos nag-render naman siya ng trabaho between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. So, kailangan natin makuha yung hourly rate ng empleyado. Multiply po natin sa 200% for the payment ng regular holiday. Then, multiply po natin sa 110% para sa night shift differential pay niya. Then, multiply po natin sa number of hours work ng empleyado. And lastly, for the work performed po on regular holiday, which also falls on the rest day ng empleyado. Tapos, nag-render pa siya ng trabaho between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. So, kailangan po ulit nating malaman o makuha yung hourly rate ng empleyado. Multiply natin sa 200% for the payment ng regular holiday. Multiply po ulit natin sa 130% for the payment ng rest day niya. Then, multiply po natin sa 110% for the payment ng night shift differential pay. Then, multiply sa number of hours ng nirender niya for that day. Okay? So, ito po, no? Nag-provide lang din po kami sa inyo, no? ng summary ng ating diniscuss po kanina, no? So, dito makikita natin when the holiday pay is due to an employee during regular holidays, entitled po for the holiday pay. For the premium pay naman po, the employee must render work po on special non-working day and rest day. If hindi nagtrabaho, no work, no pay po ang mag-a-apply. Okay? So, magkano additional compensation for the holiday pay? Again, 100% ang basic wage po ng empleyado. If nagtrabaho po siya during that day, 200% po ng basic wage. For the premium pay naman po, 30% ng basic wage ng empleyado. For the special non-working day or rest day, then 50% naman po ng basic wage niya for special non-working day, which also falls on the employee's rest day. And for the conditions of entitlement po, for the holiday pay, again, kailangan present po yung empleyado or on leave of absence with pay on the last working day prior sa regular holiday, or kailangan present siya during regular holiday. Then, for the premium pay naman po, para mag-entitled yung empleyado, kailangan niyang mag-render ng trabaho during that day mismo. For the formula po, again, basic wage multiplied sa 200% kapag nag-render ng work during holiday. Kung di naman po, kung magkano yung basic wage na empleyado, yun po yung kanyang matatanggap for that day. For the premium pay po, during special non-working day or rest day, 130% multiply sa basic wage. Then for this special non-working day, which also falls on the employee's rest day, basic wage po niya, multiply natin sa 150%. For the overtime pay naman po at night shift differential pay, again, para mag-entitle ang empleyado for overtime pay, kailangan nag-render siya ng work beyond 8 hours. So, beyond 8 hours, kung pag nagtrabaho ang empleyado, entitled siya for overtime pay. For the night shift differential naman po, work performed between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. Magiging entitled po ang empleyado for night shift differential pay. For the compensation naman po no, sa overtime pay, 25% during regular work days po, then 30% naman po kapag nag-render ng overtime work on regular holiday, rest day, and special non-working day. For night shift differential pay po, fixed po yan na 10%. Okay? For the computation naman po, for overtime pay, no, during regular holiday po, ang computation is hourly rate multiplied sa 125%, multiply kung ilan yung number of OTRs na na-render na empleyado. Then for the overtime pay po during regular holiday, rest day, and special non-working day, hourly rate na empleyado, multiply po natin sa 130%, multiply natin sa number of hours ng OT work niya. And for the night shift differential pay naman po, ang computation po dito is hourly rate na empleyado, multiply sa 110%, then multiply po natin sa night shift work niya, kung night shift work hours na na-render ng empleyado. Okay? So, we also have po yung guide computations no ng ating diniscuss kanina. So, marami-rami po to, iba-browse lang po natin para inyong makita. Okay, meron po tayo dyan yung regular holiday falling on rest day, double regular holiday, ordinary day, and may night shift differential. Then special non-working day katulad kanina, then rest day din niya and night shift. Yan. Marami-rami po ito. And you can view this po no sa handbook po na meron po ang department, yung handbook po ng Workers Statutory Monetary Benefits. So lahat po ito ay nandoon, makikita po natin, no? So saan nga ba natin makikita o madadownload itong labor code and the Workers Statutory Monetary Benefits po no sa website po ng Bureau of Working Conditions. That's bwc.dole.gov.ph. So you can visit po yung aming website and you can download po. Wala pong bayad itong dalawang ito. You can download it yung soft copies po nito. And libreng-libre po ito sa public. Okay? So let's now proceed naman po for the unauthorized deductions on wages. So last topic na po natin ito. So, Labor Advisory Number 11, Series of 2014 was issued po, and this is the non-interference in the disposal of wages and allowable deductions. No? So, ito po na issuance po ng department, no? This is under Articles 113 po ng Labor Code to 115. No? Then, ito pong labor advisor po na to, no, as general rule, no, hindi po pwede mag-interfere po ang mga employers on the way the employees want to dispose yung wages po nila, kung saan nila gustong gamitin yung wages nila. But with this labor advisory number 11, series of 2014, nagbigay po tayo ng mga exemptions kung saan po pwede mag-interfere yung ating mga employers po in the disposal of the wages of the employees. Number one, if this is authorized by law, so usually ito yung mga SSS, PhilHealth, Pag-ibig po, no, yung mga deductions na mandatory deductions po na meron tayo, makikita natin sa payslips po natin, including those deductions po for insurance premiums, no, na usually ina-advance ng ating mga employers po, and the union dues, no, provided na meron itong mga may written authorization din from the employee na pinapayagan niya. Si employer na i-deduct itong mga insurance premiums na to and sa union dues. Okay? And also, for the transactions po na ino-authorize ni employee, yung payment po kay employer to a third person, and employer agrees to do so. Provided po na walang pecuniary benefit na makukuha si employer dito. Let's say for example po, no, merong isang company na nagpapautang sa mga empleyado. Then merong isang institution, sabihin natin institution, na nagpapautang sa mga empleyado. So, para makuha niya yung monthly na bayad ng mga empleyado na to, kukontratahin niya ngayon si employer nila. Oh, sir, ikaw na lang yung mag-deduct dito sa mga empleyado na to para hindi na ako mahirapan na isa-isahin sila na i-kolekta yung contributions nila. Or yung mga bayad nila sa mga loans nila sa akin. So, uh, kapag ang nangyari ay kinontrata nitong institution na to sa employer at sinabi ni institution na if makakolekta ka si employer ng sabihin natin 300,000 from these employees no as payment dun sa mga loans nila, may bibigyan kita ng bagong motor, ganon. So, yun yung sinasabi natin ng pecuniary benefit, no? So, if ever man na i-authorize ni employee, si employer, na siya yung mangolekta ng bayad for third person, dapat walang pecuniary benefit na makukuha si employer dito. Okay? Okay. So, for the private security agencies, no, we all know naman na accepted sa industry nila yung mga deductions on cash deposits for loss or damages considering sa nature ng work or business nila, no. Ito ay ino-authorize based sa Labor Advisory number 11 series of 2014. Sinasabi natin na allowable itong practice na to provided na ma-meet yung certain conditions, no. So, for the deductions ng cash deposits or loss of damages, kailangan ang employee has clearly shown, no, to be responsible for the loss or damage ng tools, materials, equipments na pinrovide ni employer. No? So, dapat pinapakita talaga nito na siya talaga yung may kasalanan o may dahilan kung bakit nawala o nakadamage itong mga equipments na to. Second, no, dapat si employee din ay mabigyan ng reasonable opportunity to show cause why the deduction should not be made against him or her. So dapat din for due process na din, no, para mapa-explain natin kay employee ano nga ba nangyari, bakit hindi ka dapat namin i-deduct sa iyo itong mga loss or damages ng mga properties na to. Hingin natin din explanation. Let's give the chance to the employee, no, explain naman yung sa inyo kung bakit nangyari itong insidente na to. Next. So, yung amount ng deduction na kukunin sa sahod ng empleyado should be fair and reasonable, no? So, kumbaga dapat naman reasonable yung amount na i-deduct natin dun sa empleyado natin. Baka naman doble yung presyo na nawala o nasira niya, no? And it shall not exceed yung actual loss or damage na presyo ng equipment or ng tools na nawala or nasira. So, wag naman masyadong OA na presyo. Let's say, for example, 500 pesos lang yan, pero sinisingil sa'yo, i-deduct dun sa sahod ng empleyado is 1,000 pesos, no? It's unfair on the part of the employee. So, sabi natin dito sa Labor Advisory, dapat fair and reasonable yung amount na i-deduct. Then, the deduction should not exceed ng 20% ng employees' wages in every week. So, at least 20%, hanggang 20% lang, hindi mo pa pwedeng, let's say for example, 20,000 yung worth ng equipment or yung tools na nawala or nasira. So, at least, unti-unti lang, hanggang 20% lang ng wage ng empleyado every week yung po pwedeng ikaltas ng kanyang employer sa kanya. Okay. For the amount of cash deposit naman, no, for these security agencies, no, if ever man na nire-require nila yung cash deposit sa kanilang mga empleyado, the maximum amount should not exceed yung employee's 1 month basic salary. So yun na yung pinaka-ceiling natin, yung 1 month basic salary. Yun lang yung po pwede maging cash deposit na kunin sa empleyado. And again, the deduction should not exceed yung 20% ng employee's wage every week. And for the refund naman ng cash deposit, in case man na mag-retire or mag-resign yung empleyado, terminated yung service niya na or yung employment niya with the company, no, kailangan ibalik or refund yung cash deposit niya in full within 10 days from his or her separation from the service. Okay? Then, under Labor Advisory Number 11, Series of 2014, no? Nandito din yung mga unauthorized deductions. Sinabi din natin dito yung mga unauthorized deductions na hindi po pwedeng kunin o ikaltas sa sahod ng mga empleyado. These are yung company uniforms, cash deposits for loss or damage, personal protective equipments, capital share or capital build up in service cooperatives, yung mga training fees na nire-require ng mga employers, no, hindi dapat dinededakto sa kanilang mga sahod, and other deductions not included po sa Labor Advisory Number 11 Series of 2014. Okay? So, that ends my presentation, no? I hope marami po tayong natutunan at I hope marami akong na-share po sa inyo ng mga dagdag na kaalaman, lalo na sa mga empleyado po natin na bago pa lamang na pumapasok o yung mga bagong salta sa ating sa buhay, may trabaho. Ayan. I hope may na-share ako, and also pwede rin nyo itong ma-share din sa makakilala ninyo, at least magkaroon sila ng knowledge on the computation of their wages. Okay? And I will now turn this virtual floor to Miss Bea.
Maraming salamat po, Sir Kim, para sa isang informative discussion tungkol sa wage computation and unauthorized deductions. So, for sure, maraming katanungan or clarifications ang ating viewers regarding on this. Kaya naman, mag-proceed na po tayo sa ating question and answer portion. Ginather po namin ang inyong mga tanong sa ating comment section at ito po ay sasagutin ngayon mismo ng ating resource speaker. So, for our first question, Sir Kim, ready ka na ba? Paano po kung ang holiday pay ay tatapat sa aking rest day? Makakatanggap po ba ako ng 100% ng aking sahod?
Okay, thank you Miss Bea. No? Paano daw kung ang holiday pay ay tatapat sa kanyang rest day? No? Sa condition kasi natin for the entitlement ng holiday pay, ang sinasabi lang naman natin dito, the employee should be present or on leave of absence with pay on the day immediately preceding yung holiday. So kung yung holiday ay ay tatapat mismo sa rest day niya, sure, entitled po siya for the holiday pay.
Okay, thank you po, sir. Next. If an employee is absent day after the holiday, will he be entitled to the holiday pay? Because some companies practice that employees should be present before and after the holiday.
Okay, for this one po, no, katulad po ng binanggit ko kanina, condition po natin for the entitlement ang holiday pay. At sinasabi lang naman po ng batas, kailangan ang empleyado ay present or on leave of absence with pay on the day immediately preceding holiday. So ang ibig sabihin po natin dito, yung araw bago yung holiday dapat present si empleyado. So hindi po natin sinasabi dito or wala pong provision dun sa batas na sinasabi or sinasabi na hindi entitled ang empleyado kung absent siya on the day after nung holiday. So ang sagot po dito, entitled dapat si employee for the holiday pay.
Thank you po. Next po. No work, no pay po ba for monthly paid employees? Or may sweldo pa rin po for that day, but wala lang 30% premium?
Okay, thank you Miss Bea. For this one naman po, no, for the monthly paid employees po kasi natin, for the computation of their wage, factoring po, usually factoring ang ginagamit po dyan. If we will look into the factors po included for their wage po, kasama na sa fixed salary nila yung payment ng special non-working day or yung premium pay, kasama na po dyan. So if ever man na hindi siya pumasok on that day, ikakaltas na lang po yun ng employer niya sa kanya. Okay, so yung no work, no pay principle po ay mag-apply pa rin naman.
Okay po, sana po malinaw na po sa atin yon. Next po. How about the reliever staff? Meron din po ba siyang holiday pay pag pumasok siya? Salamat po.
Okay, for this one naman po, reliever staff natin, no? Sabi nga po natin, binanggit po natin, regardless ng employment status po natin, no? Magkakaroon pa rin naman po ng holiday pay. Basta pumasok, ma-meet yung condition natin. Pumasok on the day ng holiday or on the day immediately preceding ng holiday pay. So, bayad pa rin naman po or meron pa rin siyang holiday.
Okay, next po. May I ask po, how about those employees who are paid on purely commission basis? Are they entitled for overtime pay or night shift differential?
Okay. For this one naman po, no, as discussed din po kanina, for those employees po whose time and performance are unsupervised po, they're not entitled for this. I'm sorry, pero nasa batas din po natin yan.
Okay po. Next, ang 30 minutes overtime po ba ay considered as overtime? And ano po yung minimum overtime sa private sector?
Okay. For this one naman, no, 30 minutes, no, nag-render si empleyado ng overtime work, no? So, sabi naman sa batas kasi, for work performed beyond 8 hours, considered as overtime work. So, regardless kung 20 minutes yan, basta after 8 hours, lahat ng trabaho na ginawa mo for the company, lahat ng yung oras na na-render mo for that company, considered as overtime work.
Okay po. Next po, paano po kung half day lang ang empleyado sa araw bago ang regular holiday? Entitled po ba siya sa holiday pay?
Okay. So, ulitin po natin, no? Sabi natin, ang condition ng entitlement ng holiday pay, kailangan ang empleyado ay present or on leave of absence with pay on the day immediately preceding regular holiday. So, hindi naman po sinabi sa batas din o sa guidelines po natin na kailangan whole day pumasok si empleyado. So, kahit half day po siya, basta nag-report siya sa trabaho niya on the day immediately preceding yung holiday, so entitled pa rin po siya sa holiday pay.
Okay po. Next po. Ang uniform po ba ay dapat dinededuct sa mga empleyado?
Okay. So, as discussed po kanina, no, under Labor Advisory number 11, series of 2014, hindi po dapat dinededuct to sa mga empleyado. However, if yung company ay dalawang uniforms lang yung pinoprovide, tapos si empleyado gusto pa niya ng nagandahan siya, ang ganda ng design ng uniform. So gusto pa niya, mag-avail pa ako ng dalawa. Sabi niya ganun. So yung additional na yun, kailangan niya ng bayaran. No? So kung dalawa lang yung pinoprovide, tapos gusto mo pa na additional, kailangan mo ng bayaran yan.
Okay po. Next. Good afternoon po. Ask ko lang po, pwede po ba yung isang fast food franchise walang double pay at yung uniform may bayad din na dapat libre na?
Okay. So, sa mga ganito po, no, fast food franchise. Ano kaya fast food franchise to? Okay. So, sabi nga po natin, so lahat ng empleyado ay entitled for the holiday pay, no? So, yung double pay kung pumasok ka. So, nagbigay tayo ng exemptions doon, yung mga government employees tulad namin, no? Yung mga managerial employees, managerial staff, mga field personnel, yun lang ang exempted. So, all employees except yung mga binanggit ko kanina ay entitled sa double pay or yung regular holiday pay. Kung double pay yan, holiday pay yan, no? Tapos yung sa uniform naman, sa bayad ng uniform, wala dapat bayad. Katulad po ng sinabi natin, no, sa Labor Advisory number 11, series of 2014, considered as an authorized deduction po ang sa uniform. At katulad nga ng previous question kanina, if ever man, dalawa lang, tapos gusto mo pa ng isa, yung additional, yun yung kailangan bayaran mo na.
Thank you po, sir. Next po. What if nag-fall yung holiday ng Sunday, tapos rest day nyo po ng Saturday?
For this one naman, what if nag-fall yung holiday ng Sunday, tapos rest day nyo ng Saturday? Magiging entitled ka for the holiday pay dito kung meron ka talagang pasok ng Sunday. If wala ka naman pasok ng Sunday, so hindi po may entitled yung empleyado for the holiday pay.
Okay po, sir. Next po. Okay, yun hanggang doon lang po pala. So, maraming salamat po sa lahat ng nag-submit ng kanilang questions. Kung meron man po kaming mga tanong na hindi nasagot ngayon, rest assured po that our social media team will answer it later. And that concludes our webinar for today. I believe that it has been a very productive day dahil napakarami nating natutunan sa ating speaker. You may send us an email at ask@bwc.dole.gov.ph or call our Dole hotline 1349 for your inquiries and concerns. Again, please follow us at Dole BWC 1949 on Facebook, X, YouTube, and Viber to stay up to date with the latest announcement and activities from BWC and Dole. I-share nyo na rin ang video na ito sa inyong mga friends, families, and colleagues. At huwag kalimutan gamitin ang hashtag Webinar Wednesday para mas marami pa ang maging informed sa mga programa ng BWC, Dole, at ng kanilang mga attached agency para sa kapakanan ng mga manggagawang Pilipino. On behalf of the Bureau of Working Conditions, maraming salamat po sa inyong pakikisa. See you sa ating susunod na episode. Once again, this is Bea Solomon, your moderator, signing off.
Para sa mga katanungan at karagdagang impormasyon, maaari po tayong tumawag sa Dole Hotline 1349 o sumambili sa mga Dole Regional Field Office na nakakasakop sa inyong lugar paggawa.